What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Malcolm Tibbs. I'm 26 years old right now. I was able to retire myself 2 years ago using some of my veteran benefits. I've been doing self-improvement for about 8 years, and in that time, I've made a ton of mistakes. So I'm making these videos to help other young men speed up the process and get to where I'm at, hopefully faster than it took me to get here. So with that being said, absolutely the best return on investment for you as a young man is going to be getting a girlfriend. Okay, if we're just going to imagine that we have a dog, okay, and you go to the vet, you adopt a dog, and the vet's going to say, hey, if you want your dog to be happy, give it food, make sure you play with it like 2 or 3 times a day, take it to the dog park so it can see other dogs, X, Y, and Z, yada, yada, yada. Now let's imagine that we went to the vet and we adopted a human, right? We adopted a young man. The vet's, without a doubt, he's going to say the best thing that you can do for that young man is to put him in an environment where he has a significant other, right? He is going to prosper in that environment. And if you can't do that, he is going to be having a much more difficult time. He's probably going to be having some behavioral issues. He's going to probably develop some addictions, right? Your best bang for your buck is going to be getting yourself a girlfriend. Okay. It's going to fix an absurd amount of problems. And once you actually get a girlfriend, you're going to realize, oh, the only reason why I was even watching porn was because I wanted a girl. The only reason why I was smoking so much weed is because I didn't have any support, right? Get yourself a girlfriend. Now, that's easier said than done. At least it is the first time, okay? Once you know what you're doing, once you get a couple relationships under your belt, it's not hard to get another one, and it's not hard to keep the relationship, okay? So if you're struggling to get your first relationship, or maybe you've only dated 1 or 2 girls, right? My advice for you would be get onto a dating app. I prefer Hinge, especially as a black man, right? If you've ever looked at the data that Tinder has actually pushed out, black men are not doing very well. They get a lot of skips just based off of the skin color, right? So hop on a dating app like Hinge, where you actually have the ability to give a pickup line and convey some of your personality. For me, it works wonders, okay? You're going to pay for a subscription. I know that's crazy, but hey, this is something that you actually give a fuck about, okay? So you're going to pay into it. You're going to invest into it because you do give a fuck about your success. And you know that being successful in this area is going to bleed over into success in multiple other areas. So go ahead and shovel the $60 or $100 for 6 months of unlimited likes, okay? And what we're going to do is just get as many reps out there as possible, all right? You're going to start shooting out pickup lines. You're going to figure out what works, what pictures get the most likes, okay? You're going to look at this little dating app like it is really just a device to collect data on, and you are going to see what works and what doesn't, okay? Now, the reason why you probably don't have a girlfriend is because you are afraid of rejection, right? You have, simply put, not put yourself into a scenario to get this information because you are afraid of getting a rejection, all right? But that's just the name of the game. If you're a salesman and you go knock on doors and you're selling a product that costs $10,000 a month and you knock on 100 doors and you get rejected by all of them on the 101st and you sell that product, guess what? You can feed yourself for the next 3 months off of that one sell, but it's going to take you 100 knocks before you get it. It's the same thing with dating. You have to get comfortable with rejection. And once you get comfortable with rejection, you can put yourself in the position to actually start to get good. Imagine this is like Elden Ring, or maybe it's some video game, right? And you want to go up against the boss, but you never start the boss battle because you're afraid of dying. As if you can't just start over again and with new equipment or with a new girl, right? That's literally where you're at right now. You need to be okay with going in there and messing up because it's not about doing it correctly. It's not like the world's going to fall apart. This is really just about what's going to work so that I can get that health bar down a little bit lower so that eventually I can beat the boss battle and I can move on with my life and start the next endeavor. All right. Bringing this back to women, how many different ways do I need to present myself? What's the best way to escalate to a date? How do I go from a date to, getting them to my house or my condo? And then how do I actually go from having the single lay? And then how do I turn that into a relationship, right? That is going to be a reiterative process that you're going to have to go through multiple times where you're going to mess up along that path before you figure it out. All right. But once you figure it out once, you can do it blindfolded, right? Once you know how to do it once, it's not difficult to do it again. So the issue that you have is an experience issue. So that's why we are going to get on the dating app. That's why we are going to pay for the subscription. And that's why we are going to spend at least like an hour a day, maybe 30 minutes a day, just swiping, trying out different pickup lines, figuring out, okay, if I respond to a text like this, oh, okay, yeah, she doesn't really respond well, or damn, it took her 3 days to reply to that. Okay, you're going to get a lot of information once you put yourself out there. But the overall message I'm trying to convey to you is put yourself out there. Okay. Further, right, get comfortable being in public. That was something I really struggled with, especially in the military. I was in like this foreign zone, and it felt like I had to stay near base, and you know, the locals didn't necessarily like my accent made me really stand out, like my skin color made me stand out. So I kind of just stayed to what was close to what I knew, right? But that's not really going to help you date. That's not going to help you get over your fear of rejection. Get outside the house. Go linger in public, right? Pick up a book and go sit down in like a mall or something and just get comfortable being outside, because guess what? Once you get a girlfriend, you're going to be spending a lot of time outside, okay? Now, when you're doing all of these, you know, you're putting in these reps and you're getting better and you're getting better, you're going to start to develop standards for yourself. You're going to say, really, I'm saying this next part of the video is to convey a lesson that I've learned. It's not really about how good the girl looks. All right. That's going to be a standard that you want to impose upon yourself, especially if you're around other friends and, you know, they have good looking girlfriends and they're almost giving you shit because you either don't have a girlfriend or your girlfriend isn't the best looking, right? That's not what is important, right? What you want is a woman with the best attitude. You want a woman who believes in you more than you believe in yourself, and she's willing to do whatever it takes to make you successful. That's what you're looking for, okay? It doesn't matter what shape or what size she comes in, as long as she's willing to go the extra mile for your needs, because that's truly all that you want as a man. That's what you should want as a man, okay? I don't want to go too far on a tangent, right? But there are a lot of different levers of influence that are working in your favor and against your favor, okay? Some of those levers are going to be authority, likeness, pre-selection, okay? There's another one that's escaping me at the moment. But when it comes to women, the only lever of influence that you want a woman to have over you, the only way that you want a woman to be able to influence you is how much she likes you, not how attractive she is, okay? Not how authoritative she is, right? That was a problem I had in one of my prior relationships. I was with a white woman, and I was at a period in my life where I was really insecure about the color of my skin. And so I looked at her and I looked at everything that she did as proper or correct. And that relationship didn't last very long because I made her into an authority figure, right? And that's just not where she wanted to be as a woman, right? She wants you to be the authority, okay? So if there is a woman in your life, you only want her to be in your life because she has an amazing attitude, because she loves you. No matter what you do, no matter what pivot you make in your career, she's down for it, right? I just had a woman wash all my dishes this morning, right? And she was eager to do so. You want a woman like that, who's not going to give you shit or say that you're being sexist or misogynistic because you want her to help clean the house, right? You want a woman who wants to do that, okay? So as you get better at dating and as you get better at finding women and, you know, seducing, you know, getting them to your house and sleeping with them and setting up relationships, you're going to find that you're going to be happiest with just one woman. Okay. It's almost like going to your favorite restaurant. You're going to try everything on the menu at least once, but you're probably just going to have one meal that you like the most and you're going to stick with that meal. Okay. You're going to be happiest with that one meal, and you're going to be happiest when that woman that you pick is willing to go to the moon and back for you. All right. Not because she looks super pretty, not because she's a certain age, right? Because she is enthusiastic about helping you and pleasing you. That is by far the best way for you to keep a relationship going. When you make the woman, when when you allow her to influence you with other factors, right? So like pre-selection, right? The fact that other men want her, that's not a good reason to want a girl, right? That kind of makes you a cuck, okay? But that's something that a lot of men fall into, myself included. I have found that when a woman that I was with, and the relationship was a little bit shoddy, and then I found out that she was out dating, and she actually took that step to go develop other relationships, it made me want her more. Like I had to like secure her. You don't want that. You don't want to be that kind of a man. It's only going to make her push you away further, and it's going to escalate that same behavior, and it's not good for you. Okay, you only want a woman to have influence over you because she likes you. And when a woman stops liking you, when a woman starts to restrict her access to you, well, then you stop liking her, right? Doesn't matter how big her tits are, doesn't matter how tight her pussy is, right? Not to be vulgar, but you only want a woman who has a good attitude, okay? That by far, that's probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned now that I'm 26 years old. That is what you're looking for in your relationship. You want a woman who has a good attitude, right? I'm gonna go ahead and wrap the video up. Chances are most of my audience clicked off around like the 2 or 3 minute mark. So if you're still listening, you really resonate with what I'm saying. You might even relate to some of the things that I'm saying. It would mean a lot to me if you commented, told me a little bit more about that. If you left a like, if you subscribed, and if you shared this with a friend. If you check the description down below, you'll see a link to my Instagram. If you follow me and shoot me a DM, let me know that you saw this video. I would love to set up a one-on-one coaching session and maybe help you out a little bit in like a more intimate session, right? And get some like real feedback from you. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap the video up right there. Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend. I'll see you guys in the next one, and good luck.